The Dark Knight was released in 2008 and was directed by Christopher Nolan and stars Christian Bale and Heath Ledger. And in this movie, Batman faces his toughest test yet as he meets a new villain in the Joker who plans to bring the downfall of Gotham. This is a movie that is beyond reviewing. And the reason why I say that is because it is so iconic, it is so legendary, that everybody knows what The Dark Knight is. And I am doomed to repeat what other reviewers have said, what everybody else has said. But nonetheless, I have to talk about this movie because with the Batman approaching, I need to review all the Batman movies. And I mean, this is just too iconic of a movie to pass by. I could have just, thought about it. I was like, man, maybe I don't need to talk about this movie. But I just feel like maybe I just need to give my thoughts out there and just tell the people, whoever watches, what I think of The Dark Knight. Let's get right into it. Let's start with the positives. And why not talk about the biggest positive of this movie, Heath Ledger as the Joker. This is not just one of the greatest superhero movie performances of all time. This is one of the greatest acting performances in all of cinema. It's to the point where he won an Oscar for a reason. I mean, this movie blew me away because when this came out in 2008, I was still a kid. So when I went to the theaters, I just remember how mesmerized the entire theater was by Heath's performance. That's all we were able to talk about in school, and when I was with my brother, that's all we talked about was how amazing Heath was as the Joker. He truly became this character, and it's so haunting to see a character like the Joker be taken in this direction. Even though in some comics he's gone this way, but still to see it in a live action form was breathtaking.
I like this job. I like it.
What makes Heath's performance so iconic and so memorable is that people to this day are still arguing over Joker as a character, meaning that in this movie, there are people that go, no, he's insane, he just likes chaos, he doesn't truly know what he's doing, he's just a dog chasing cars. But then there are other people that watch the movie and see him as this criminal mastermind who is like 8,000 steps ahead of everybody, that's possibly a former veteran, all this stuff. And that's the whole point of this character. When you see Joker give his stories about how he got these scars, the whole point of Joker as a character is the same thing as Batman. People give their own stories, their own theories, their own legends about this character, and it creates this mystery, and it creates this fear of that character. And Joker is just like Batman, where he relies so much on stories and legend to increase his reputation so that when you see him, you don't know how to respond. This whole movie is just genius in storytelling and writing especially, and I think the whole movie, while amazing, the best scene to me is the interrogation scene. And what makes that scene so good is that Batman as a character, if you've read the comics, done the video games, all this stuff, you always see Batman as this patient human being who's always ahead of everybody, that always has a backup plan, with all the contingency plans for the Justice League, all this stuff. But to see the Caped Crusader be outclassed in every single way was honestly, it was like watching a horror movie. I mean, I was terrified to see that no matter what Batman did, Joker was always one step ahead of him. I mean, it's to the point where when you watch this movie and you see the ending, you truly see that Batman lost. Even though they arrested Joker and he's going to jail for the rest of his life, he accomplished what he wanted. Gotham was in chaos, Harvey Dent fell to the dark side, and Batman had to give up being Batman, which is what he loved doing. So in the end, Joker won. So that's crazy to see that no matter what Batman did throughout this movie, Joker, in the end, won the war. God, this movie is just so good. This movie is incredible. I can watch this every day, no problem, and just find new things. That's what's so great about Nolan films. The more you watch it, the more you see. A very underrated performance is Aaron Eckhart as Harvey Dent in Two-Face. Look, this movie is also a blessing and a curse for the other actors because you're part of one of the greatest movies of all time, but your performance will not be talked about because Heath Ledger was in this movie. But I want to give some love to Aaron Eckhart as Harvey Dent because Two-Face is such an interesting character in the Batman Rogues Gallery because it's not just he's a villain right off the bat or he was this bad guy that turned it into an even bigger villain. He was a good guy. No, he was the best guy. That's why Bruce depended on him and bet everything he had that Harvey was going to be the new superhero of Gotham. Gotham needs a hero with a face. That's what Bruce said. And the fact that Harvey was it, Bruce was like, this is my ticket way out. This is how I can be with Rachel and live the life I've always wanted. But then to see Harvey slowly become Two-Face, even though you see shades of it, you know, they called him Harvey Two-Face for a reason, but to see it finally come to fruition was terrifying, and it was beautifully done by Christopher Nolan, and it works with Aaron Eckhart's performance as Two-Face. That's what makes this still the best live-action Two-Face, even though we've only had 2 iterations, and we kind of had one in Gotham, but by far this is the best Two-Face live-action performance. The action scenes are also incredible in this movie. When Nolan does action, I mean, he makes the most of it. The way he uses the bat cycle is absolutely gorgeous. It just makes me love the Tumbler even more. This is another vehicle in the Nolan-verse where I look at that and I'm like, I want to ride that so badly. I mean, it is a gorgeous motorcycle, and the actions, the explosions. I remember watching this in the theater and just like feeling the sound, feeling the explosions and everything Batman does, just feeling it in my heart. It was that intense, and Nolan just really knows how to do impactful action movies. What I love so much about the Nolan trilogy, and especially this movie, is that it truly tests Batman's morals. You know, there's always been an argument with Batman on his code. A lot of people say that his code makes sense, but a lot of people don't like his code, saying like, you know, you could just kill Joker and get it over with. Hence, Under the Red Hood. I really recommend it. That's another movie that tests Batman's morals. But when it comes to The Dark Knight, midway through the movie, Joker realizes that he has a no-kill policy. You know, he finds out that, okay, Batman's not going to kill. And it becomes his obsession. He's like, what can I do to make this guy kill me? That's why he's shooting everybody, and he's like, hit me, hit me. And for Batman's morals to be truly tested throughout this film became another subplot that was just amazing, that truly made this one of the greatest films of all time. And what I love so much is that you see Bruce in the beginning. He says Batman has no limits. And to see that statement crumble away throughout the film was amazing. I mean, Joker took that statement and literally crushed it under his foot by saying Batman has no limits. No, he does have a limit. And it's that one policy he has, that code that separates him from good guys and bad guys. And the fact that Joker said we're destined to do this forever, that you won't kill me because I'm some ridiculous self-righteous code. I mean, that's just incredible storytelling. That really leaves it up to the audience on what you truly believe is right. Do you think Joker should be punished and killed? Or do you think Joker should just go to prison and Batman should never kill because that would make him just as bad as the Joker? That's what makes Batman, the Joker, this movie, just Batman as a character, so incredible and so mesmerizing. The score is amazing in this movie. Hans Zimmer should get all the credit in the world. You know, I know a lot of people don't put this up there with Danny Elfman's theme or the Batman the Animated Series theme, but this theme is incredible. When I hear this, I'm like, this is Batman. And the score I love the most is specifically the Joker's theme. Like, when you hear it playing, I mean, there are certain scenes that's going on where even when he's talking with Batman, you hear Joker's that little, like, you hear that just screeching sound. That shows that Joker is 100% in control of the situation. And you hear that theme a lot because he is 100% in control of this movie. It's like none of his plans fail, which just blew me away. It was awesome. But the score by Hans Zimmer was truly iconic, and it made the movie even better. I don't really have any negatives for this movie. I really just have one mixed thing, and that's Rachel Dawes as a character. Look, I believe in what the relationship between Bruce and Rachel stands for. I believe in what Rachel represents, but I just don't think the execution worked. Recasting Katie Holmes for Maggie Gyllenhaal, I don't know. I know a lot of people didn't agree with it, but at the same time, neither of them really worked. Neither of them really had like out-of-this-world chemistry with Christian Bale, so I just couldn't latch onto the relationship and feel, you know, I don't know, I just couldn't feel a connection with it. So that way when Rachel died, I could understand why Batman is upset and why Harvey becomes Two-Face. But because you get, I don't know, it's just something about the relationship between Rachel and Bruce just doesn't connect for me. And it just doesn't have the same spark that Batman has with Catwoman or with Vicky Vale in some of the animated movies. It just didn't work for me. Plus, Rachel as a character, I know I said this in my Batman Begins review, she's kind of annoying. You know, there's some parts, like take for instance, the party. When Joker arrives and Batman says, stay hidden to Rachel, when he has a gun out and he's threatening people, what does Rachel do? She just goes, okay, stop. Like, great planning there, Rachel. What do you think's going to happen? You think the Joker's going to hear you say, hey, stop? And he goes, oh, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have done that. You know what, guys? Let's pack this up. Let's go. I don't need to do any of this. Come on, Rachel. Get it through your head. I mean, guys, come on. I'm giving this movie an A+. I mean, did you think it was getting any other grade? This is one of the greatest movies of all time, let alone one of the greatest superhero movies of all time. This is still the best Batman movie of this taping. Look, I haven't seen the Batman yet, but when I see it, I'll let you know. But for now, this is definitively the best Batman movie of all time, and this is still probably the best superhero movie. I mean, look, here's the thing. People like to argue on if this is a superhero movie or not. Look, it has Batman in it. It goes in the superhero genre. It does. It just does. So I'm giving this movie an A+. Beautiful writing, beautiful storytelling, amazing acting. Just what a thrill ride of a movie. So thank you, Heath Ledger. May you rest in peace for giving us one of the greatest performances of all time. Thank you, Christian Bale, for being an incredible Batman. And thank you, Christopher Nolan, for making Batman Batman again. Even though we got one more movie to talk about, this movie truly set a new bar. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.